Good morning, Truth Serum Nation. It's your boy. Boy, times are moving fast. That was a great convention convention for the Republicans. Hopefully, they can get this country back going. A lot of stuff happening. I'm trying to keep up. So go get a coffee, a pop, come and hang out with the Truth Serum. We have a little fun over here. Try to figure things out. And I'm gonna play Senate, uh, the Senate committee, and Ted Cruz. They're doing a hearing on immigration, and this Mayorkus is the secretary of the immigration, and he refuses to answer questions, which we'll see, and it's just part of this. There's only a certain number of people like Donald Trump, Ted Cruz. There's only limited number of people that are fighting for this country. And you get these hacks, these Joe Biden hacks that don't care to come in and destroy our country. And it's gone too far. I'm gonna play the audio of the hearing. And we'll just listen, people, you should start to. Oh, here's a tidbit. The View, that hack View, that ABC talk show, The View, allegedly they offered Caitlin Clark $1 million to sit in for one episode. She said, nah, no, thank you. No, I don't want to rub elbows with demons. No, thank you. God bless Caitlin Clark. And Angel Reese, we won't mention her. You already know her story. That racist, that Angel Reese, that racist. So here's Ted Cruz, the Senate Committee, Illegal Immigration. They got the director, this Mayorkus. Here we go. On your marks, get set, go.
Good morning, Secretary Mayorkus. Good morning. Is there a crisis at our southern border? Senator, there is a very...
He asked them a simple question. Is there a crisis at our southern border? I guess it requires a yes or no answer.
So that's a yes or no question. Is there a crisis? Senator, there's a very significant challenge. I think your microphone is not on.
He says, Senator, there's a very significant challenge. Let's continue.
There is a very significant challenge that we are facing. Yes or no? Yes. Is there a crisis? I believe I've addressed that question. So you're refusing to answer? Senator, there is a very significant challenge. And will you answer if there's a crisis? Therefore, we are dedicating the resources. Okay, so you're refusing to answer. Well, Secretary Mayorkus, I'll tell you someone who is willing to answer, which is your and President Biden's chief of the Border Patrol in a sworn deposition in July of 2022.
So here's the chief, here's the appointee for the Border Patrol. Biden and this Mayorkus is the guy down there, and this is the statement he makes. Because this bum won't answer yes or no questions. This Mayorkus, this embedded bum, part of the Biden clan. And this is what you get, folks.
When asked, would you agree, Chief Ortiz, that the southern border is currently in crisis? Answer, yes. Notice none of those wiggle words, none of that equivocation. One word, one syllable, yes.
Yes or no?
Are you willing to speak with the same clarity as Chief Ortiz? Is there a crisis at our southern border, yes or no? Senator, I'm very proud to work alongside. But you refuse to answer. Let me ask.
He asks him, and here goes Mayorkus. Senator, I'm very proud to rip it. What are you talking about?
The next question. Has the crisis at our southern border made Americans less safe, yes or no? Senator,
Has the crisis at the southern border made Americans less safe or not? Simple. Let's hear what he has to say. Listen to this gaslight bullcrap.
Dedicated to the safety. Has the crisis made Americans less safe? I don't want a
We're dedicated to the safety. You ain't dedicated to nothing. They're letting fentanyl come in. They're letting illegal immigrants come in. They're letting killers come in. What, Senator? Well, we are dedicated to who? What?
Of course, it's a yes or no question. Senator, we have a challenge of... You refuse to answer the question. Mr. Secretary, let me show you how someone doing his job answers a question in a straightforward manner. Chief Ortiz, is the crisis that is currently ongoing at the southern border making the border less safe for Americans and aliens alike? Answer, yes. One word, one syllable, 3 letters. That's how someone answers a question and does their job.
Yes.
You're being a politician misleading the American people. Let me give you a chance again. Will you show the same integrity Chief Ortiz shows? Is the crisis at the southern border making Americans less safe? Yes or no?
Simple.
Senator, we have 260,000. You refuse to answer the question.
Senator, we have 200. What is this? These are people that are in control of keeping our country safe.
Move on. And security of the next question, Mr. Mayorkus. Has the crisis made aliens less safe? Yes or no? Senator, we are seeking.
Yes or
so
no?
You won't answer that question either. It is
yes or no?
It's a yes or no. Has it made aliens less safe? Senator, smugglers are exploiting. Has the crisis made aliens less safe? Are you willing to answer it?
No, he ain't gonna answer.
Senator, the smuggling organizations. Okay, you're filibustering again. Let me ask you this question: how many migrants have died under President Biden?
Senator,
your phrasing of the question is actually quite
Senator.
misleading. How many migrants died in 2022?
Senator,
At our approaching our southern border? Yes. Precisely why we are seeking to exclude this. Do you know the answer? Do you know how many died? I do not. You do not. Of course you don't. I know how many died. 853. That is 853. And by the way,
here's the director of Homeland Security. He don't know nothing.
Here are the numbers that have died every year. You go back to 1998, you see it's consistently between 300 and 400, 300, 400, 300, 400. Suddenly, 2021, what happens? You get in office, and that red line are dead bodies. I've been on the Rio Grande, and I've seen dead bodies floating there who've drowned because of your refusal to do your job. You don't even know how many have died. What do you say to the Texas farmers and ranchers who find pregnant ladies dead on their property, who find toddlers dead on their property? What do you say to them?
Senator, we have a challenge and we can just do this and we're going to try to better.
Say that is why precisely we are taking it to the smuggling organization. But you are not. That is simply not true. Number 2, it is let me read from the Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal 2 weeks ago ran an article entitled, "It's like a graveyard. Record numbers of migrants are dying at the border." The story begins with this chilling line, quote, "Eagle Pass, Texas. Local officials keep a refrigerated truck to hold the bodies of migrants who drown in the currents of the Rio Grande while trying to cross the border into the U.S.
Wow.
Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent that this article be entered into the record.
Wow.
Let me ask you a different question.
Yeah, try this one, Mayorkus. Try this one.
How many children have been sexually assaulted by human traffickers under the Biden administration?
Senator,
this is precisely why we instituted. I don't want a lecture. It's a question. How many children have been sexually assaulted by human traffickers under your administration?
Answer the question.
This is exactly why on January 5th we announced the parole. Do you know how many? Do you know how many children have been sexually assaulted? This is why we. You're going to refuse to answer that question as well. Let's move on. It's obvious you've been instructed to stonewall, so I'm not going to.
It's obvious that Biden and all them bums have directed him, of course, to just stonewall and not answer anything. But, Senator, it's quite a challenge and this and that. He can't give a yes or no answer. This is just total cover-up and corruption and everything from A to Z.
You don't get to stonewall and filibuster. Now, one of my Democratic colleagues before said the Democrat talking point, quote, "This problem didn't start under Biden." That's, look, I get it. If you're a partisan spinner, you get it. So
they're trying to say it started with Trump. Well, this, let's just draw straws and try to weasel out and grab a hold of anything. And well, this didn't start under Biden. So in other words, it started with Trump. Really, Billy? How insane these people are? Let's continue.
Figure out something to say about the absolute catastrophe that has played out under the Biden administration. True or false, Secretary Mayorkus, 2020 was the lowest rate of illegal immigration in 45 years. Is that true or false? It is true.
Simple answer. In the year 2020, was it the lowest level of illegal immigration? What? Simple question. True or false?
Certainly the lowest level of immigration in many, many years. And what was it? Okay, fine. 2020. What was it, Senator, in 2020 that impacted the entire world, including the United States? Okay, so your testimony is the reason we had the lowest rate was COVID. It had nothing to do with building the wall, nothing to do with any catch and release, nothing to do with remain in Mexico. With all respect, Mr. Secretary, that answer is laughable. And in fact, if you look at illegal immigration, let's look at
He's got charts. He's got charts. Ted Cruz doesn't play. Hey, Paul, Ted Cruz does not mess around. These stonewaller hacks that are doing the bidding for this Joe Biden, it's laughable. It's corruption. They should all be in. He's should be in contempt. These are easy facts. These are simple and easy facts. Yes or no, true or false. Senator, it's a challenge to do that.
EP encounters. You can see 500,000, 500,000. It drops to the lowest level, and boom, what happens? You show up. And that red line is you. That red line is Joe Biden.
The charts.
And you're claiming nothing happened. Oh, gosh, this was here before us. No.
Nope.
You made the decision to allow this to happen. Let me ask you. We now have over 5.5 million people who've entered this country illegally under Joe Biden. How many murderers have you released into America? Senator, I'm not aware of any murderer whom we've... So you don't know?
Senator, I'm not aware of any murderers that have been released into this country. Tell the victims' families that. Mayorkus, tell the victims' families that.
Senator, let me say something. Do you know? If you take a look at... No, you don't get to give a speech. Do you know how many murderers you've released? I'm just trying to answer your question. How many rapists have you released? Senator, I'm trying to answer your question. You can answer, I know or I don't know. Senator,
you don't know.
Individual who poses a public safety threat... How many child molesters have you released? And removed into the United States, from the United States. Oh, so your testimony under oath, subject to perjury, is that you have not released any murderers, rapists, or child molesters among the 5.5 million. Is that your testimony? Mr. Chairman, may I have the opportunity? No, you may not. You may answer my question. You're not. Is that your testimony? Yes or no? Senator, you're not allowing me to answer your question. I am allowing you to answer. I'm not allowing you to filibuster. If you take a look at the pace of immigration in 2018 to 2019, you're refusing to answer. Let's move on. Let's move on to gotaways. Gotaways are the people that get away that you know about. Now, what happened under your administration? Gotaways consistently down at this low line. Boom, you get in. And they go from below 180,000 to 600,000. Now, I'll tell you this about a gotaway. You don't know among those 600,000 a year, you have no idea how many are murderers, correct? That is precise.
Right. They call them gotaways. The ones that just got away, they're in the country. There's over 600,000 of them. And he can't say that they committed crimes. He doesn't know if they committed crimes or not. That's his position on the 600,000 gotaways.
Precisely why the correct. Do you know how many of those are murderers? That is precisely. So you refuse to answer the question. You know how many are rapists? Do you know how many are rapists? This is a question. You're a lawyer. You know how to answer questions. Of the 600,000, do you know how many of them were rapists? Senator, this is why. The answer is no. Let me ask you this. Do you know how many of them are terrorists? And I don't want to, Senator, here's my lecture on this. Do you know how many of the 600,000 gotaways were terrorists? Yes or no? Senator, we are focused on this. You refuse to answer that as well. What's the result of massive gotaways? Well, one of the results is drug overdoses. And we now have last year over 100,000 overdoses who died, the majority from Chinese fentanyl streaming across the border. Now, you told Senator Cornyn you care, but look what has happened under your policy. When you open up the border to the worst illegal immigration in our nation's history, people die. You claim you care. Mr. Secretary, that is a lie. You know, some months ago, Karine Jean-Pierre stood up at a White House briefing and said, people are not just walking across the border. Was she telling the truth? Senator,
that Secretary of State, that Jean-Pierre, the Chia head, oh, there's nobody walking across the border. There's nobody, that voice piece that wrote it. There's nobody crossing the border, blah, 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 this and that. But yeah, okay, let's continue, folks.
Was she telling the truth? Profoundly disrespectful. Was she telling the truth? 2 years.
Are there people walking across the border?
You get to answer questions. You don't get to give speeches. Senator,
are there people walking across the border? It's a yes or no. Well, Senator, we're creating a challenge and all that. This is what this country is. These are the people under this current administration and are just tanking America. I don't have a problem with immigration. Just do it legally. That's all. We all started off immigrants, our families. Just do it legally.
Served as a federal prosecutor. All right, you're refusing to answer. If you look at, she was lying. And she was not lying on her own. She was lying on behalf of the President of the United States. Now, the photograph people.
A Biden hack. She was lying. The Secretary of State, of course, she's a Biden hack.
She was lying on behalf of the President of the United States. This is a photograph from just one day along the Rio Grande of hundreds of thousands of people.
He's showing a picture of hundreds of thousands of people just walking into America. But his reply, well, Senator, this is just gaslighting and politicking and gibberish, insanity. He's showing the pictures. Exhibit A, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit C, D, E.
Walking across the border, you have allowed this to happen. The photograph that was before. What are these wristbands?
Wristbands.
I don't know what they are. You don't know what they are. Mr. Secretary, you have just testified to the American people you're incompetent at your job, because I've been to the southern border, and if you go to the southern border, along the southern border, you see thousands of these wristbands because the illegal immigrants wear them. The drug cartels, every color corresponds to how many thousands of dollars they owe the cartels. You've turned these cartels into multi-billion-dollar criminal organizations, and these are modern-day leg irons, because these are children being sold into sex slavery, and you don't even know what they are. That is astonishing, Mr.
These kids are coming in with these wristbands that are represent which cartels and all this and that they belong to, these young children, and then they're sold into slavery, sex slavery, according to whoever they belong to, and then they have to pay off whatever they owe, and it's just complete. Here's this hack. He doesn't even know what these are. A senator knows what they are. It ain't even his job to know what they are. But here's the guy that's the head of it, Mayorkus. I don't know what those are. Oh, the colors of a rainbow.
Secretary, how many children have been sold into sex slavery under your administration? Senator, we are taking it to the cartel. How many children have been sold into sex slavery? Do you know how many children have been sold into sex slavery? To an unprecedented degree. Mr. Secretary, I want to say to you right now, your behavior is disgraceful. And the deaths, the children assaulted, the children raped, they are at your feet. And if you had integrity, you would resign.
Resign.
And I will tell you, the men and women of the Border Patrol, they've never had a political leader undermine them. They despise you, Mr. Secretary, because you're willing to let children be raped to follow political orders. This is a crisis. It's a disgrace. And you won't even admit this human tragedy is a crisis.
Bum.
Senator Hawley.
Now, there's other ones that go on and continue all that, folks. Hey, Paul, how's it going? This is just completely ridiculous. You got to start watching these Senate judiciary hearings and the Senate committee hearings on what's going on behind the scenes. And you see these hacks, these Democratic hacks that are doing everything the opposite of what us regular Americans would want for our country. And they sit up there with straight faces, Senator, it's proposed as a challenge, and they all work under Biden. They're trying to save their paycheck. That's what you get. There's not many people left like Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, and other people that are trying to fight for this country. There's not many left. If this country doesn't wake up soon, it's going to be a close election. If this country doesn't wake up, you're going to have those same people running the show, and that's evidence of how much they care. That's just, there it is. So it's up to the Americans to decide in the next election of what do you want? A guy like Ted Cruz and Donald Trump fighting for the country, or do you want people like this Mayorkus and Cheadle, the director of Homeland Security, and all those other hacks that are supposed to protect ex-presidents? So we're not going to unpack that right now. But this is the same guy and his whole administration that you think they care. You think they care about like they run the Secret Service. You think they care about protecting Donald Trump? You see this hack, this stonewalling hack. These are the same people in those agencies that are running this country and making decisions on how this country is being run. That's treasonous. That's treasonous. That's Marxist. That's communist. There ain't many left. Go out, vote. Go out and vote, because these people are left on their own bidding. This country is going to be the Republic of China. It's already halfway there. All right. So there it is, folks. Be the kings and queens of your world. Don't give up. Keep fighting. Raise up in your mental health, your mind, soul, body, spirit. Fight for what you believe in. If you're struggling with things, stay strong. And we're in a turbulent time here, very critical part of where our country is going. So I'm glad, thank you, God, thank you, Jesus, that there are people actually fighting hard to save this country as we used to know it, what this country used to consist of. So there it is, folks. Thank you for coming in. I'll keep pumping away, and God bless you, and God bless America.